Thank you for watching the Solid Sports and Gaming channel. You're watching the Solid Sports video blog, the SSVB episode 76. Today's date is November 16th, 2018. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Troy West here. Thank you for tuning in every week, twice a week. Of course, Wednesday is our Thursday night football edition of the Sports blog. This is our normal Saturday edition, so we'll cover everything that happened in the week of sports since last Saturday morning. Major League Baseball awards came out this week, little by little. I touch on all of those: Cy Young, Manager of the Year, Rookie of the Year, MVP, of course, in both leagues. NBA, a lot of crazy stuff going on and off the court. Jimmy Butler finally got his wish, got traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. He finally got his first win as a Sixer last night. And of course, the Draymond Green, Kevin Durant, little squabble, little beef they had this week. And Carmelo Anthony, is he done for good? Will he find a team? I get my thoughts on that. And the NFL Week 11 continues. Of course, tomorrow a lot of intriguing games, some playoff implication games. I picked my big five as I expound on 5 games and still pick the rest of the week's games. Every single game, and college football starting to heat up. Teams got to continue to win to stay in the playoff. Notre Dame got a little tricky game against Syracuse today. We'll see how they fare in that game. Pretty much must win to stay in that top 4 in the playoffs. And of course, little NHL as well. But we're going to start with Major League Baseball. Of course, the season's over. Red Sox are your champions. And they took home some pretty good awards as well. Mookie Betts was your MVP. Monster year for him. He takes home the American League MVP. National League MVP was Chris Yelich of the Milwaukee Brewers. Of course, he came over in the offseason from the Miami Marlins last year. Think about all the talent the Marlins let walk. As they are the rebuild. Of course, Giancarlo Stanton going to the Yankees. But Christian Yelich, he wins the MVP in the National League, got the Brewers to the best record in the National League by a game, of course, with the playoff, the 1-game playoff to win the division for the Brewers. And they got to the NLCS as well, falling to the Dodgers, of course. Cy Young winners in the American League, Blake Snell of the Tampa Bay Rays. Didn't know what kind of year he had. He was quiet for me, but the Rays was right there competing for a playoff spot in the last couple of weeks of the season. So sort of under the radar, but look at his numbers, not surprising. Led the American League in ERA at under 2, and that's good for an American League pitcher, of course, when you don't face the pitcher that often. And the National League Cy Young Award went to, sort of controversial for some people. Jacob deGrom won it for the Mets. Only won 10 games for the season, but his ERA was under 2 as well. And he lost, I think the stat was 9 games when he allowed 1 run or less. So it means 1 or 0 runs. They lost 9 games, the Mets as a team. Some people didn't like it because he only had 10 wins. They put wins into the factor that wins should matter. Some people was okay with it. I'm more okay with it than not, because wins is a fluky stat, because you can leave the game with a lead and your team can blow it for you. So I'm not all the way over to he should have won it guaranteed, but I don't have no problem with him winning it. And looking at these stats, he done what he was supposed to do. The Mets should have just scored more runs, or the bullpen should have held it for him. Some people very adamant don't think he should have had a chance at all because of his low win total. But 10-9 was his record, but all the rest of his numbers across the board was tops in the National League. And I don't have no problem with him winning the award as well. Plus, the Mets didn't make the playoffs, so that's another factor some people throw in there. Mets was a good team, but it wasn't his fault. He did his job. So a little controversial, but I have no problem with it. So Jacob deGrom was your National League Cy Young, and the American League Cy Young was Blake Snell, the Tampa Bay Rays. Rookies of the Year of American League, Sonia Tony won. Of course, the Japanese Babe Ruth. Of course, the hitting and the pitching won't pitch till probably won't pitch at all next year either, but he had Tommy John surgery done, so he just go basically focus on hitting. But he had a good year. Of course, 2 Yankees was in the Gasper Torres was one of them. Was the Yankees finalist for Rookie of the Year. 2 of them was, as the Yankees had a good year. The National League Rookie of the Year went to me, no doubt, Robert Acuna, the Atlanta Braves. My Braves, he was a big reason why they was able to wrap up that National League East Division. And I like the way the future looks for my Braves. Just got to get a little bit more pitching and bullpen help. Lineups looking steady with Freddie Freeman, Nick Markakis in the middle of it, and Acuna at the top. He had a good year, rookie year, so hopefully that continues. And congratulations to him as well. And managers of the year, speaking with my Braves, National League manager Brian Snooker won, which I think he deserved it. Nobody expected the Braves to win the division, not even myself. So I was grateful for that. And American League Rookie of the Year, team with the most wins, Alex Cora, the Boston Red Sox. Some people make an argument for Bob Melvin of the Oakland A's, because the A's sort of came out of nowhere and nobody thought they was going to make the playoffs. But had no major problem with this one. This was a little bit more tricky as well. Some people thought Melvin should have won it. The Oakland A's, excuse me. But I have no problem with Alex Cora. He won the most games. Boston, you expected them to do well. I didn't expect them to win. I thought the Yankees would win this division, I think, the beginning of the season. And I thought they was going to falter in the playoffs. I doubted them the whole playoffs long. Really into the World Series, I did like, I was hoping the Dodgers won it, but I didn't feel good about it. But the Red Sox deserves it. Great season again for them. 4 World Series since 2004 when they won their first one in the 100-year drought. So congratulations to all those guys. So that'll be it for baseball for a while, unless a big trade happens, or Machado or Bryce Harper gets signed. I see some rumors about Paul Blowswick might be leaving the Diamondbacks, even though he want to stay. So a lot of big names out there looking to move somewhere else. So we'll see how all that works out in the offseason. As we just hit November, so we got a long way to go. Things will start to heat up till December. They had the winter meetings and all that stuff. So, but that'll be all for baseball talk for now. Let's move on to the NBA. Of course, right after I got off here, they recorded my blog last week. Of course, I recorded my blog about 9 a.m. Eastern time. I think Butler trade went down, I want to say the middle of the afternoon last Saturday. He finally got traded to the Philadelphia 76ers. And of course they won their first game last night. I think that he only played 2 games since then for Philadelphia. The Timberwolves, they didn't make out too bad, in my opinion. At least we'll see how it breaks down in the end. But Robert Covington, Darko Saric, I think they got a 2nd round pick. Pretty decent team to build around Wiggins and Towns. They'd be a formidable team to deal with. Philadelphia, of course, makes out as well, getting Butler to stabilize the Sixers, even though it's still, but the weakness about the Sixers is can they get some outside shooter. Of course, other than Redick, no one else is a consistent outside shooter. So Butler can do a little bit of everything, and he's good defensively. So that might, like I said, tip the scales back to their favor. Not having to have shooting, they can just play better defense. But it's just a trade. Not surprising he wanted out, and Philadelphia was a rumor. But the Sixers must think he's going to sign long term. We'll see if he does. That'd be a good call with Embiid, Butler, and Ben Simmons, who has to improve offensively. Of course, that's been a knock on him. But he's all around player as well. So Sixers are very interesting team to look at. Also, Boston with a big win at home against the Raptors last night. Kawhi Leonard looks great, but Kyrie Irving, when he's on, the guy could carry a team. He had 43 points last night. I watched that game. That was on ESPN last night. Went to overtime. Kyrie took over pretty much the 4th quarter in overtime to carry the Celtics through. Celtics deep team. I think they still just getting the rotation. Who take the shots? I think Kyrie is starting to emerge as that guy. He's going to take the big shots. Jason Tatum still look like he's improving. Jaylen Brown, I think he's the one that's sort of like lost in all this. Him and Rozier, in my opinion, watching them play, they look sort of like, okay, you know, what's my role really? So once they get all that figured out, and Brendan Hayward, he still looks a little lost as well to me. Still trying to find this groove. Of course, you know, had the devastating injury last year. Gordon Hayward, excuse me, I called him Brendan Hayward. Of course, Brendan Hayward used to be the center, top center for the, used to play for the Wizards. Of course, went to North Carolina. I don't know why I was thinking about him. But, Boston is interesting to Toronto as well. They been a little slide. I think they lost. That was their third straight loss last night. But still has another one team in the East. The Milwaukee Bucks look good as well as they hitting threes. That was their weakness last year. Can they score? They scoring. So those four teams, clearly the top four teams in the East: Milwaukee, Philadelphia, Toronto, and Boston. The East, pretty much everywhere else you don't. I mean, it's roll the dice. You know, pretty much from there. Of course, the biggest story, one of the biggest stories in the NBA this week, Kevin Durant and Draymond Green, little scuffle, little beef they had. I want to say it was Monday night. They played the LA Clippers. Final possession of the game. Draymond Green gets the rebound, pushes us up court. Kevin Durant clapping and calling for the ball. Draymond tried to go to the lane, got stripped, lost the ball. Game goes overtime. They wind up losing. They go back to the bench. Kevin Durant pretty much saying, you know, basically why you give me the ball, Draymond. Plus, really pretty much called him a B word and pretty much broke up his contract. Like, are you really, you know, here long term with us? You know, that was his question. All that came out in the media. Durant been trying to downplay it. Basically said don't ask him about it again. Kevin Durant, one thing you can say about Kevin Durant, he's a great player, but he is a little sensitive. Making all these burner accounts on social media, all that stuff. So I think it's bothering him more. Draymond just came out and said, look, he ain't apologized. That's how he is, basically. It was, I was emotional. You know, my emotions came over me, blah, blah, blah. But he didn't apologize. So, that's basically saying, like, you know, this is who I am. Sometimes it hurts our team. He said he just regret that it hurt the team at that moment, but he's not going to change who he is. He said him and Durant going to get along, which I think they will. I think it's been blown up. But I think the only reason why it got blown up because Durant might be leaving. Now, I don't like predicting where people going to go when they free because I'm always wrong. I was wrong about LeBron like twice. I was wrong about Paul George. I thought he was going to go to LA for sure. So I'd be wrong about these things all the time, but there's knowing how Durant is, how sensitive he is, I would say it's more than a 50-50 chance that he's going to leave. But like I said, I've been wrong before. Even if they win a title, I think he might leave. If they lose, I think it's almost at a heighten the percentage that he will leave. You know, so. In my opinion, so because he'll start getting criticized then, even though he won back-to-back Finals MVPs, pretty much in the playoffs was their best player both years. So, but he's just a little sensitive. He don't like criticism. He's been like that his whole career. Oklahoma City, they ain't really digging him. Well, all the failed attempts, especially the year before when they lost to the Warriors in the 7th game when they had a 3-2 lead. So. We'll see how that shakes out. Long season. That's what one thing Draymond said as well. It's a long season. Durant said it as well. I think they're going to mend their fences. And I don't think it's going to affect them on the court too much at all. Even though they've been losing. They got blown out by the Rockets the night before. So they're in a little bit of a funk. But still clear the West. And that's why I wrote that as the West wide open. I think so. Teams that we thought was going to be that strong second, like even Houston, even though they beat the Warriors. Carmelo Anthony, of course, we'll talk about that in a few. He's gone. Will that open up the Houston offense more? You know, get them a nice, better flow. They're not playing that well. Utah lost again last night. That was a team that I liked in the West. Denver started off hot. They cooled off. Lakers are right there. They've been winning. So it's really the Warriors and everybody else. Everybody else sort of bunched up. The Kings still hanging in there. So a lot of teams hanging in there in the West. So We'll see how it all breaks down. But talk about the Rockets, Carmelo Anthony, of course, he will not play for the Rockets again. They try to let him find somewhere to play before they release him. I don't think they're able to trade him, even though they're trying to. I don't think they're gonna be able to trade him though. They get pretty much nothing back for him. But me, I don't think he's done. I think he's still talented as a scorer. Of course, he's not gonna give you too much defensively, but I think he gotta sort of swallow his pride a little bit and just have a role. I think if he becomes like a spot-up shooter and like a bench player, like come off the bench and you get the shots, and if you're in there with the main guys, just be spread the floor, hit some jump shots. I think he can still play in this league. But I'll be honest, I think as far as like being the main guy, I think he can't be the main guy no more. He could be a compliment, but I don't think he could be the main guy. But I think he still is talented enough to play NBA basketball. So we'll see where he wind up. Of course, rumors been Philadelphia. I think logically that's a good fit, but I think as far as all the personalities in the locker room, that might not be a great fit. Lakers has been a rumor. So we'll see where he winds up. I think he's going to wind up somewhere. It might take weeks, but I think he is going to wind up somewhere else. I don't think he's retiring just yet. And Carmelo Anthony is the type, he don't like when you doubt him. So the more people say he think he's going to retire, the more I think he's going to try to really find some way to play. So, but just, well, I don't want to say sad because he's not at the point where he's just washed up. But a lot of people criticizing him as well. Like, well, you had chances to play on good teams when Houston the first time when he came free agent for the Knicks. He stayed in New York. Pretty much took the money instead of going somewhere where he probably could have won. So that's what they criticizing him for. But I don't think he's done. I think he'll find a landing spot somewhere. Just have no idea where. But that'll be a development story within the coming weeks we'll look out for. Alright, so that's it for the NBA. Let's move over to the NFL as we get to week 11. And here's my picks here. Pick'ems app. We're about to pick every single game from this week. I got my 5 best games here. At least I think 5 most intriguing or best games of the week. I'm starting off to a bad start. I lost Thursday night. As the Packers lost, I picked the Packers to win that game. Seattle came back and won that game. Pretty much keep their playoff hopes alive. Green Bay, it was a big hit though for them, but I think they still have a chance to win this division. We'll see how Minnesota and Chicago look. We're going to talk about that game in a few minutes. Sunday night. So that's a big game. If Minnesota win that game, that'll sort of definitely keep Green Bay alive, because they'll be tied pretty much in the division, and they'll still be about a game and a half back. So let's get started. First game up, Cowboys at Falcons. That's on my Big 5 list. This pretty much might be an elimination game in the NFC playoffs as well. Falcons, big loss last week to the Browns. But coming into this game, they is 3.5 favorites. Dallas showed flashes of good football. Of course, had the big loss 2 Mondays ago to the Titans, but they came back, beat the Eagles on the road for their 4th road win of the year. Offense, like with Mark Cooper, looks a little bit more open. Ezekiel Elliott getting the ball more. This is a tricky game. I think Atlanta in that dome, coming off that loss. I got Atlanta winning this game. Probably be a close one though. The 3.5 is appropriate here. I think it'll be within a touchdown. I think Dallas though will push them. Hopefully they can try to run the ball, control the clock. And Dak will have to make throws with his time. I think the Falcons offense going to bounce back. Matt Ryan with Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley, Monavis Sanu. I think they're going to put up at least 30 points, so Dallas got to be ready for that. I got the Falcons though winning at home to keep their playoff hopes alive. I think if Dallas lose, I think just like I said about Green Bay, they still have a chance to win the division. I still don't trust the Redskins yet. And they the leaders in the East, so still a slight chance, but it'll just be tough. It'll be a huge window if they can get it. Bengals at Ravens, that also made my Big 5 list. Bengals at 5-4, Ravens at 4-5. Ravens 4-point favorites. Ravens offenses look shaky. Quarterback, the starter this week is in jeopardy. Flacco didn't practice all week. Jackson only practiced a few times this week. He was sick Thursday, practiced yesterday. Will RG3 get the start? So we don't know who started for the Ravens. But me being a fan, I picked the Ravens to win. I always pick the Ravens to win almost no matter what, even when I think they're going to lose. But this game, Bengals, so if I own the Ravens, I don't feel great about picking the Ravens. I ain't gonna lie about it. I really think they done. I went on a rant on Facebook talking about they need to break down everything. I still feel the same way. I'm just more calm about it now. With that loss to Pittsburgh, the way they lost to Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago before the bye. But they got a bye week. Hopefully, they probably been getting, if Jackson is going to start, they've been getting him ready, him and RG3. I guess they want to announce that maybe till today or probably till tomorrow before the game. But there's no official starter yet. Bengals, up and down. I put some faith into them a little bit earlier in the year. Had them in my power rankings, but they're falling ever since. They hired Hugh Jackson, though, this week to help them. And of course, the controversy always around Marvin Lewis, why he's still a coach and all that stuff. But I ain't gonna talk about that. Bengals got the talent, like I said, to be one of the top teams in not just AFC in football. But I would pick the Ravens more because of my fandom. But I wouldn't be shocked if the Bengals win this game at all. Supposed to be a little chilly here in Baltimore tomorrow, so hopefully, both teams play a cold weather since Cincinnati. But Cincinnati have owned the Ravens, so I think they've beaten them the last like 8 out of 9 times. So maybe the Ravens due for a win. Other than that, I don't have a lot to think that the Ravens will win this game. If I was just picking without using my fandom, I would probably go with Cincinnati. I'm just gonna put it that way. But Bengals, Ravens 4-point favorite. I think that's, I guess, just about right since they're at home. But I'm gonna go with the Ravens to win, but wouldn't be surprised if Cincinnati Bengals win the game. Carolina Panthers at the Detroit Lions. Panthers at 6-3. Of course, had that big blowout loss to Pittsburgh almost 2 weeks ago on Thursday night. Lions, to me, they free falling. Something ain't right. They got rid of Golden Tate. I think they sort of going to rebuild a little bit. Carolina come off the loss. I think they're going to bounce back. I think they go in Detroit and win. Colts and Titans. Titans 5-4, Colts 4-5. Both teams been playing pretty well of late. Titans, of course, winning 2 in a row. Big dominating win against the Patriots last Sunday. Colts put together some wins as well. Andrew looked like his old self. Looked like he's getting protection with his offensive line. Got a little running game as well. But I think the Titans is an overall better team. I think this would be sort of another statement game for them on the road. I think they pull it out. I think they slow down Luck. And Titans defense is a little underrated as well. I say the Titans enough this year. Like I said, Jack Away High, sometimes they come out like this will be a week they lay an egg and play like crap. But I'm going to go with them this week. I think they on a push for a playoff spot. I'm going to go with Tennessee winning on the road. Buccaneers, Giants. Not going to speak too much about this game. Like I said, Buccaneers sort of on a free fall. Giants coming off a win last week, last Monday. Against San Francisco, probably gave us a little bit of confidence boost. I think they win it at home. It'll be cold in New York probably this week, just guessing. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's not a bad quarterback, but turned the ball over too much. I think he'll turn the ball over again a few times, and that'll tip the scale to the Giants. I'm going with the Giants here, winning at home. Steelers, Jaguars. This is supposed to be one of the best games of the year. Jags probably the most disappointing team to be in the NFL, just 3-6. Steelers been hot, 6-2-1. Offense is clicking. Jaguars defense been looking pretty average, below average. That was supposed to be they staple. Warm weather in Florida. I think that's the only chance the Jaguars have. Maybe the Steelers won't be used to it. But other than that, I think the Steelers will win by 10 at least. Jaguars look done. I don't believe too much in them now. Houston at Washington. Texans at the Redskins. Big game. Both teams 6-3. Both lead their divisions. Houston come in and win at 6 straight. They're coming off the bye. Washington, sort of up and down team at 6-3, but came off a win last week. I'm gonna go with Houston. I think Houston just a little bit better team. Alex Smith don't turn the ball over, but I think Deshaun Watson, you'll see probably one of his best games. Now he got to sit for a week, coming off an injury last year. I think the Houston defense will come big. I think Washington, well, I've seen them a few times this year as well. If Adrian Peterson gets shut down, that pretty much neutralizes that Washington offense. And I think Houston will be able to do that. I think they win a close one though. I think it'll be about 3 points. What they are favored by. Houston is. I think they win it by a field goal or so. Broncos, Chargers. Of course, it's hot. 7-2. Fifth for by power. Well, fourth now. They moved up over New England with them losing. Broncos 3-6. Like I feel about some other teams, I think the Broncos just free falling. In purgatory right now. Chargers on the up. It is a division game though, so I think this will be relatively close. But I think the Chargers will pull away probably in the second half and win it. Got San Diego, LA Chargers, excuse me, winning this game. It should be in San Diego, man. I don't know why they moved to Los Angeles, but they are there. Raiders, Cardinals. You can flip a coin here, but I think the Raiders are really checked out. I think the Cardinals still competing. That's the only reason why I'm picking the Cardinals here. They're at home. Other than that, flip a coin. If it wasn't that second time, I think the Cardinals will compete. The Raiders are done. They don't look like they want to win a game. They want to get that first pick, and they got 2 other first rounders as well. So they just packing it in, getting ready for Las Vegas, which is still 2 years away though, mind you. I just like the Cardinals a little bit better than the Raiders. Simple as that. I got the Cardinals winning. Eagles, Saints. This is a big game for the Eagles, definitely. Saints at home, 8-1. Eagles at 4-5. The Eagles, of course, should defend the champions. Saints get 8 points, and I can't argue too much about that at home. A lot of people think this is going to be a blowout. I got a feeling it's not going to be such a blowout. I think the Eagles will be within a touchdown or so, but I do got the New Orleans Saints winning. Coming in winning 8 straight, just looking like the best team in football. Number 1 in my power rankings. Drew Brees doing what he does best. Michael Thomas seems like unguardable, no matter if you double team him or not. Kamara out the backfield, him and Ingram a perfect combination. Saints is just rolling right now. Eagles a little bit of purgatory. Wentz still getting his legs back under him. Running game has been hurting the Eagles, and the defense haven't played as well as they did last year. I think the Saints will win this game, but I think it'll be a little close. I think it would probably be about 8. I think 8 is a perfect number. I think it'll be about 8. I think it'll be less than 10. But I think the Saints will pull it out and win. Sunday night football, NFC North, big game. Vikings at Bears. Vikings 5-3-1, Bears 6-3. Vikings win. They will be in first place because of the tie over the Bears. But Bears at home and it's outside. Even though the Vikings is in Minnesota, they'll have to deal with these conditions. I think it's been snowing in the Midwest as well this week. Gonna be cold, and it's a night game. I think Kirk Cousins, we'll see how he's really made up. This is probably his biggest game as a Viking so far. Khalil Mack is back, so he better watch out for that. Well, the whole Vikings offense better watch out for it. Can Devin Cook have a big game for the Vikings? This game, I don't feel great about picking the Bears. Honestly, I like the Bears. I like how the offense is looking better. Trubisky is look like he's coming along. They run a game with Cohen and Howard. I like the Bears, but it's just something I just don't want to believe in them yet. Like, something telling me not to go all in on the Bears. But I like the Bears though. But I'm gonna pick them to win this game. I think it's gonna be close. Bears less than 3-point favorite, 2.5. Vikings starting to, like I said, get their legs back out of it. But I think that home field and being outside, I think Vikings won't be used to it. I think Cousins will probably throw a pick, a costly interception. That's what I predicted. I think the Bears will hold them off and win. So that's it for Sunday. Of course, the monster game of the week. Chiefs at Rams. I'm not going to reveal my winner yet. I'm going to have a big on a Monday Night Football Hangover on Mondays, my live YouTube thing that I do as I look back over Sunday's games. I'm not going to reveal my winner yet. I can't wait for this game. I'm going out and watch this game. The game, of course, you know, has been moved to back to LA here in the States. It was supposed to be in Mexico City. And I think I'm happy about that because I think we're going to really see what these two teams are made of. Could be a Super Bowl preview. Rams, you know, looked a little shaky the last couple of weeks, even though they won last week. They lost to the Saints. They're winning by the skin of their teeth a little bit too much, maybe, for your taste. And the Chiefs, Mahomes slowing down just a little bit. Still throwing touchdown passes, still doing this thing. Weather's starting to change, so we'll see if that affects the Chiefs at all. Even though they got Hunt, they can give the ball to. This is going to be an interesting game. I can reveal my pick. I already decided who I'm going to go with. And I'll reveal that on Monday morning. So join me Monday morning on the Monday Morning Football Hangover every Monday live on YouTube. And I'll definitely make sure I do it early. I did it late last week. Had some internet problems. We slowed it down. And I'll let you know what the score and everything. We're going to basically be a big preview of that game. And to look back on Sunday's games as well. So that's it for our Week 11 preview of the NFL. I want to wrap up this video. College football, some big games. Well, Alabama don't. They got the Citadel. That should be at least a 50-point win. Clemson, I don't know if they off this week. I don't know who they play, but it's nobody of significance. I think Michigan plays someone. I don't know. Maybe I should have looked at this stuff first. I know Notre Dame probably got the biggest test as they go against Syracuse at Yankee Stadium outside the cold. I still think Notre Dame gonna win that game. Even though Syracuse having a good year, the offense is high flying. I just think Notre Dame gonna win it. I think they win the rest of their games this year. I think the 4 that's in now is probably gonna wind up being your 4. Michigan, Ohio State, that's the only hurdle they gotta get. They get by that hurdle, they'll be in for sure. Alabama still got Auburn, so we'll see how they break that. But I think the 4 that's in, I think this will be the 4 this year. I don't see nobody coming up and breaking that top 4. Of course, let's get some UCF talking here. They got a big game tonight in Cincinnati. Cincinnati comes to Central Florida. I kind of agree with you gotta since the way they do it, you gotta have a good strength of schedule. I say UCF next year or within the next year. I know some schedules are made years ahead of time, but schedule Alabama, schedule one Power 5 team a year, maybe at the beginning of the year, maybe in the middle of the year. You know, try to get scheduled those. See if you win that game. You win that game. I think they did beat just one Power 5. They'd probably be up there, but they haven't played anyone, so. They're not getting a lot of love for the playoff. But Cincinnati is a formidable team. They can't look past them. So we'll see. That's a night game. So that's 2 big college football games right there. And that has something to do with the college football playoff. Hockey league, I said I'll be trying to get hockey in. It's just hard for me. I try to do the research. But it's just nothing to talk about yet. Like I said, Lightning and the Predators still play pretty well. But we'll see. I don't really get into hockey to the playoffs. Also, the Tampa Bay Lightning get them some love. They play real well as well. Still too early. A lot of no teams really separated themselves yet. I looked at the standings though. But if you have any suggestions about hockey or what I should talk about, definitely leave me a suggestion. But just admitting I'm not a big hockey fan. I follow it, but I'm not a huge fan of hockey. But I'll be trying to get in some hockey talk since baseball season is over now. But that'll do it for this week. I want to thank everyone for the support as always. Check out my other channel. I put a little comment below, the open book with me, Troy West. This week I talked about how your career and your job could affect, maybe if you're depressed or have better issues, how your job could hinder you and how maybe you could push through it and what not to do. And I reveal how I lost my job last year because of my depression. So check it out if you someone of that nature. Like I said, my email is there on the page description. If you want to just email me personally, you definitely feel free to do that, or just leave comments below. I answer comments publicly as well. So that'll do it this week. Episode 76 of the books. Episode 77 next week. Don't know what the Thursday night game is yet, but I will know soon, and it'll be a preview of that. Video game playthrough, Spider-Man. Some more Spider-Man coming up next week. I think I'm gonna try to do a Mega Man 11 video now. Try to take out that first Wily stage if I can. I've been doing so 20XX. I'm at level 9, which is one of those tough levels. So I try to do that. Other than that, not that much more to play. I might go back to Sonic Mania. I might go back to Mega Man X, because I got a long way to go. I got both collections, and I'm only on Mega Man X3, so I might try to finish those up as well. Go back to the retro series. So thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all y'all support on social media, Facebook, Instagram, all that's in my page. Solid sports underscore and underscore gaming. That's my Instagram, and Facebook I'm at TD West. So feel free to leave me a friend request or post them on my page. My page is not private, so both pages, so you can easily access me. I'm Troy West. Said thank you so much. Enjoy your week. Enjoy your weekend. Stay warm if you're in the East Coast. And again, think about the people in California. And I think the wildfire starting to get about control a little bit, but there's still an issue there. So keep the people in your thoughts as well. And I'll talk to you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. So much. Appreciate it.